this video, I wanted to discuss the overview of the inquiry screen and talk about the Invite a Customer button that can be a very powerful tool for your store. First, as you log into the CarCode system for your store, this is the home screen that you will be taken to initially when you log in. As you can see at the top, this is your sales number, essentially the number that your customers will see when they begin texting your dealership and reaching out through the CarCode portal. This number here is not only a texting number, but is also a call number. So you can actually dial this number and it will ring through right to the store. You're able to include this number as it is personalized for your dealership on any of your marketing collateral material or on any of the email signatures that any of your people may want to send out. As we look below here, we can see that in the inquiry screen, it will list out the different inquiries that you had coming to your dealership. They will be categorized under 3 categories. All, so when the all is selected, you will see all of the different inquiries that have come in. Unanswered, when selected, you'll see just the ones that have been unanswered. And then unread will also be selected as well. So it's a way to break them apart. One note to understand on the unanswered portion of the CarCode portal inquiry screen is that any conversation that a dealer has with a customer, there's a back and forth piece as it goes forward. Customer says something, dealership responds to it. Well, if you have a situation where you actually have a conversation with a customer and perhaps you say, great, I'll set that appointment for 2 o'clock for that test drive. And then the customer says, great, I'll be there. And then there's no other further conversation from the actual dealership, then the system thinks of that as an unanswered inquiry. So even though the inquiry was answered and the conversation was had, because the customer was the last one to finish, that one will be categorized as unanswered. So they aren't necessarily things that need to be taken or addressed, but they do need to be looked at as far as making sure conversations were completed. On the unread category, those would be the ones that are the most important to be able to look at. You'd want to be able to click on the unread tab and see any questions or any inquiries that have actually never been read and have never been responded to. These are customers that could be left hanging or not getting questions fully answered or just being ignored overall from the store and potential risks of having appointments and sales that are being missed. Under the tab here of the Archive tab, we can see any of the conversations that we want to archive and bring back. So if I were to select a conversation that I'd already had, I can then add it to the archived portion, which will take it essentially off of my hot sheet or off of my beginning desktop piece here as we go forward. You can click on the Archive tab, and then you're able to see all of the different categories and all of the different pieces here that allow you to see all of the older conversations that are no longer either being had. Hopefully they've been ones that you've already sold cars to or at least made appointments for as you've gone through. I can then select any of these as well and bring them back to the unarchived. If the conversations pick up, you can see by the warning on the top here that it was successfully done. And then I can go back to inquiries and I will see all the inquiries that I've brought back to the original page. Now I can see all of my inquiries in one place and then be able to reply and respond to them as much as possible. If you have a tremendous amount on the list, you can actually use the search function, which will allow you to search for different names, phone numbers, and different inquiries to be able to search for them. And then you can filter them out too as well, different types of conversations that have come in, whether they are start dates, end dates, customer names, etc., and then apply those filters so that you can get only a small category of the type of inquiries that you want to research or summarize and look forward to. Lastly, on this screen, we have the button in here in the middle that is the Invite Customer button. And this could be a very powerful tool that you can use not only with the Edmunds customers that are inquiring in your store or sending you in leads through your CRM, but this allows us to reach out to anyone that we make contact with and invite them to be in texting with us. This does a very powerful tool that can do a lot of good things for us. The way it works is that we enter in a phone number. And so if I were to put in a certain phone number, it will then scan that phone number to see if it is a possibility of a landline or a disconnected phone number. It will also screen phone numbers that are on the do not call list. So as you can see, this can be a very powerful tool to just screening phone numbers and making sure that you're legally protected by not reaching out to someone who has specifically requested not to be solicited through their phone number. Now, as I go back through and change the number, to a cell phone number. I then can put the name of the customer, and then I can put a short message. Once that message is put out, I can then invite the customer. You're going to see that when I do this, it's going to give me another warning. It wants the customer's full legal name. This, again, is a way for us to screen and to make sure that the names that we go through here and we use are able to be reached out by dealers and essentially protect you legally so that you don't have mishaps of people that don't want to be communicated. Once I do that, I can invite the customer. And since this is the same number that is on our list, it's going to tell me that it's already having a conversation with us, so we didn't need to reach out. Again, the system is filtering and looking for possible ways to make it very simple. I can now inquire to this person because they're already having a conversation with us in the CarCode system. If this had been a new customer, what we would have done is we would have invited that customer, and that customer then would have to type the word start to engage back into us. Essentially, the system would go gray and not allow us to continue the conversation until that customer had opted back in and typed the word start, and that legally protects you as a dealership so that you're not inquiring or bothering people prematurely. Now remember, this CarCode system keeps track of all of the conversations and all of the inquiries that you do, whether they come in initiated by the customer or they're initiated by you, the dealer, and you want to reach out to people. Texting is a very strong form of communication. It's very popular. And in terms of being able to reach out in a non-aggressive, essentially very comfortable and familiar way, texting can be a very great way for you to grab customers that are not responding to your phone calls, not responding to your emails, but open up that third channel of communication so that you guys can basically go back and forth and sometimes even get just a little bit of a bite back on that customer as it comes through. And again, these don't have to be Edmunds customers. You can do it from any source, whether they've walked into the dealership or sent you any form of lead from any vendor or even possibly your own website. The other piece is that all the conversations will be recorded and kept in here. They never go home with a salesperson on that salesperson's phone. And with the legal protections, you're never going to have issues with someone texting someone that doesn't want to be texted at this time. So this is your inquiry screen with the CarCode. It's a way to manage the inquiries, to do the follow-up, and to essentially keep track of those customers so that you don't miss someone and miss a potential sale going forward.